UN Cares allows us to kind of challenge ourselves about stretching our own boundaries and being more inclusive in the UN system.
You know, in Africa, we have a lot of taboos, so you cannot talk about sex in the family. But we have got this opportunity to reach them, to overcome those barriers. When we are training them, we separate them according to the categories of the participants. We have children, teenagers, young adults, and adults in 4 separate groups so we can talk easily to each category.
I heard comments, and the comments, they were shocking to me because for people that you know that work in the UN and the lack of knowledge that they have on HIV and lack of knowledge on how it is spread and how they discriminate against people, someone who is outside of the UN would think that people that work at the UN should be a little more knowledgeable. So I think the UN Cares program will bring everyone up to speed in that aspect.
Okay. Because I shared with the team of facilitators once that I was going to have an HIV test. Why are you going to have an HIV test? I was asked. I said, because in our sessions, we say to people, it's good to go have an HIV test. So why can't I myself go for one? Are you crazy?
In many ways, HIV is an entry point for discussing some of the difficult issues, be it sexual orientation, be it violence within the family. It's about the gender construct in specific societies, those kind of issues. And I think in many ways, it has enabled people to start addressing many of those difficult issues, start talking about it.
Well, I had experience when one of my colleagues in UNFPA, for example, who attended the learning sessions on HIV together with UN Cares. Before, she's not clear about the HIV transmissions, and also for those who are marginalized in the context of HIV. And after that, she was very clear on the HIV transmissions. And then the most important thing is she's become quite open.
I saw also a lot of improvement in this, in reducing stigma discrimination in the UN workplace after the stigma campaign. I think the stigma campaign was a very powerful campaign, and
Il y avait auparavant des personnes qui évitaient les présumés PVVIH, mais avec les différentes formations, et surtout la formation sur la stigmatisation, ils ont compris que le VIH, ils ont compris les différents modes de transmission du VIH, et ça a permis aussi de lever petit à petit le voile de la peur du VIH.
This has been the biggest challenge, to get them together and get their attention to go through the issues and to start discussing and brainstorming on their experiences and their level of knowledge. But when they get together, you cannot believe the level of interest, the questions they bring around the table, and especially we've been impressed by the interest shown by the adolescents, the children of the UN colleagues. It has been really impressive because they were comparing the information that they get in the schools or via internet with the information that was presented during our UN Cares session.
Bueno, cuando yo tenía el primer taller fue cuando tenía creo que 10 años. Pues la verdad no sabía mucho acerca del VIH-Sida, así que lo poco que sabía probablemente era información incorrecta, porque sabes, cuando eres adolescente la información que te hablas con tus compañeros está probablemente errónea. Entonces asistí a este taller y pues recuerdo que aprendí mucho. Nos contaron acerca pues todo, que era el VIH-Sida, cómo nos podíamos proteger, no crear estigmas, también muy importante, y definitivamente a mí me ayudó mucho. Recuerdo que después yo le conté a mis compañeros, inclusive ellos siempre me preguntaban cuando tenían alguna duda, porque igual no todos tienen mucha confianza con sus papás, entonces pues me preguntaban a mí.
growing up in a community where the discrimination was the norm, it became part of me. But working in the UN and UNAIDS has taught me a lot about discrimination.
Yeah, we've seen opportunities come and go in the UN system where people have been exposed to transgender populations, people living with HIV, men who have sex with men, lesbians, sex workers, drug users, and the reaction of some UN staff is like, why are we bringing them into the table? Why don't we leave them outside? They're not academically qualified. They are not mentors in our society. These are not the type of people that we should be profiling. And yet, we go back to our desk and we write documents that talk about inclusiveness, the freedom from fear, from freedom from want, and we think that there's no connection between the rhetoric we write and share in UN documents versus what we actually practice. These are UN system staff who sometimes talk this way. And I think that this reflects the value of UN Cares and the need to continue with UN Cares.